I know Steve and I and some others have been talking about the cyber threat for 8 years now. It is upon us, as you saw with the Sony Pictures hack, with many hacks of great American corporations, but we were slow to get there. You know, we've left the back door of many of our corporations open for a long time. The next thing we need to be looking at is what's happening in artificial intelligence. It's expanding very, very quickly in lots of different directions, from self-driving cars to something that resembles closer to neural intelligence networks, and it's being developed all over the world. 10% of venture deals in Silicon Valley now have Chinese investors behind them. That could be okay, but it's something that we shouldn't be naive about and we should be looking at. So these are two of the challenges that we need to be getting ahead of, and I'm not sure we are.
Part of what you heard with Wilbur, of course, is about the business aspect. You're involved and have been involved, and we all know that national security is the most important priority, but business by American firms is also a very important of that. A little overlap with Wilbur. And in my company, and I think it will vary among those who are represented here, but we had splendid businesses in both Russia and China in the aftermath of the Reagan administration and the Gorbachev initiatives and all that went on. Today it is very difficult, as you know. And the question for both of you is, how well do sanctions work, and do they penalize Americans and American companies more than their return in getting national security enhanced?
It really depends on the case. I think we've seen in the case of Iran that the sanctions regime that put in place, which really was, the problem with sanctions really are if they're unilateral U.S. sanctions that other countries do not join. And then they become a tax or a penalty on American business and open the door for businesses of other countries to do business. The sanctions that are effective is where U.S. can take the lead, other countries follow, and you have an international sanctions regime focused, in the case of Iran, on trying to get Iran to the negotiating table on the nuclear deal. That worked. The administration is trying to use similar tactics, not only sanctions, but diplomatic and security measures, to try to convince North Korea that it should cut back or give up its nuclear program, and to convince China to put more pressure on North Korea. We will see if that will work. I think it is a useful tool in the toolbox, but one, it's more effective and better for U.S. business if it's multilateral, not unilateral sanctions. And secondly, it's not a universal tool. It will not always work, and it usually will not work if it's the only tool you're using. You've got, for most of these problems, to have an integrated approach that uses all elements of national power, of which sanctions really is only one.